In one of our science labs, I have a quick little faucet repair. At least I hope it's quick. Let's find out.
Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
Apparently, what we've got going on here is just water leaking. It's not coming from the base underneath here. If I run my hand here, my finger comes away wet. So what can often happen, I have another little cartridge here from a different one, is this little seal around here can be gone, or it's simply not tight enough. So I might just need to tighten it up a bit, but I'm gonna take it out, I'll clean it up, and then I'll check the condition of the cartridge itself. I don't think there's anything wrong with the cartridge. I say that because this isn't dripping, and it works fine. So the cartridge is probably fine. We're probably just talking about needing to reseal around here. And like with any other plumbing job, let's start by shutting off the water. Now, I open that up all the way because I need to turn this in the same direction. To the left, to the left, to the left. Here, which will allow me to get in here. So, yeah, there's our leak right there.
Except that now that I have the handle off, I can see that it's not coming through the threads, but through the stem of the faucet cartridge.
So let's take this bad boy out and see what's going on. One thing I'm noticing is that even though the faucet is the same, it's the same faucet I have an old one of these where I got this cartridge out of. The cartridge itself is different. If you look at this, it's a 3/4 inch hex on this, and this is not. Here's the faucet that the other one, that cartridge came out of. And it's the same as the one that we're looking at in the classroom. Just a different style cartridge, which I find interesting. This to work its way out like this now. Oh yeah, it's a different kind of cartridge altogether. See that?
So I'm going to try something here. I want to confirm that it's actually leaking through the cartridge and not around the threading. So I've greased up the O-ring, and I've put some thread sealer on the threads themselves, and I'm going to reinstall it and turn the water back on and see what happens.
Okay, it's in, and that is as tight as I can make it. And so let's turn the water on and see if we have any seepage. So, I didn't repair this at all. I'd be surprised if I can get parts for this cartridge. These faucets were discontinued a long time ago. So the hunt begins. And this is where it might get even more difficult, because I took another look at the faucet that I had, and while they're similar, they're not exactly the same. This is a TNS brand from Chicago Faucets, a very well-known commercial faucet manufacturer, and this isn't. If you look at the lines, these are slightly more rounded. They've taken after the design, but it's sharper corners. I'm going to say this is a knockoff. which is why it has a different cartridge in there, and which makes it even less likely that I can find replacement parts for the cartridge that's in there. That's not so good.
So what do you do when you don't have a manufacturer, so you don't have a part number, so you have no idea what part you need to order? Well, because it stands to reason that faucet manufacturers don't make their own cartridges, that certain cartridges could be used in multiple faucet types. So you do an image search, and wouldn't you know, my hunch paid off.
Look what arrived in the mail today. This is a replacement cartridge, and while I haven't compared it to the one in the faucet currently that's leaking, this one, at a glance, looks identical. And what's interesting about that is it is not listed as the cartridge for this particular faucet. This faucet is discontinued, and actually could not find a cartridge make model for it. But I just did an image search through the Google machine and found an image of this, and it is for something completely different. However, like I may have mentioned, faucet manufacturers don't necessarily create or manufacture their own cartridges, right? They would go to a cartridge manufacturer and say, hey, have you got something that'll work with this faucet? And I believe I have found a match. Let's go find out. Moment of truth.
It's a match! You've made me a happy man. Good. Let's drink on it.
Wow. It actually fits. Oh, you're welcome. You too. Wow. Would you look at that? Now, I don't know if you noticed when I was operating the faucet that to open it, I actually had to turn it in the opposite direction. Normally, to open a faucet, you would turn it in the counterclockwise direction, right? Righty-tighty, closed, lefty-loosey, open. Your hot is usually your left and your cold is on your right. And so you would, if this is left, hot, cold, you would turn it this way, counterclockwise, to open it. This works in the opposite direction, which I find interesting. So maybe if, I shouldn't say if, when the next one fails, I can always order this one, which is the same cartridge, but for the hot side. So it would be on the opposite side. So chances are this would open in the opposite direction of the cold one, which is probably the only difference between these two cartridges. Otherwise, they would be identical, I would think. I'm just happy that I found something that actually works. The type of faucet that this is designed for is something more like this, really, with a different spigot on it. Not a science lab faucet at all. So I'm just very happy that by doing an image search, I was able to find a matching cartridge. Having said all that, whether I got to turn it to the left or to the right, I don't care. At this point, we've got the faucet working again. It's not leaking. It's a win. Thanks for watching.